guys, welcome to the letter E lab.
Welcome.
We know that you passed pre-K and that you know what the letter E looks like. The purpose of this is not to learn about the letter E. The purpose of this lab is to learn how to use a microscope and to make a slide all by yourself.
Yep.
So it kind of seems silly we're doing this, but this might be your first time using a microscope, and it probably is your first time making your own. You're making your own slides. So here we are. You need to grab the instructions. It's on a blue cardstock, probably.
Yep.
And then you'll need your sheet for observations here. And then your materials will be a microscope,
which is right here, and it may have a dust cover on it. So make sure that you remove it. So you have voila.
Don't hold it like that though.
No, hold it like this.
Okay. You'll need your glass slide, which is, the slide is the rectangular piece. I'm not sure you can see it, but there's also a clip art of the rectangular slide. You'll need a cover slip, which on the clip art you'll see is that little bitty square, which literally covers whatever the specimen you're looking at is.
And they come in this little handy box here, and they're very thin, so be very gentle with them. The boxes are taped shut, so make sure you only have one though.
Okay, then you'll need scissors, your toothpick, your newspaper print, and then a small beaker of, apparently that's covered up, it should be, the word water, just lost. Oh, the water's down there. Small beaker of water. Forceps, which are these things here, but it's also this, they're called tweezers in normal people world. And then finally, a dropper. Okay, so those are your materials today. So we need to go through this procedure nice and slow, reading each line out loud. That way you understand what you're doing. So we're going to go through the video, and then I want you to make sure you're rereading them as you do the lab. Okay, so the most important thing is these slides. We have not bought slides since I've been here, so we're using slides we've used before. They're nastiness. You're going to want to clean them. So you're going to take your glass slide and just clean it off. And then when you dry it, you're going to actually put on a paper towel and then blot it. Blotting means like up and down, up and down. Do not rub it, because that just scratches the glass slide. If you do it with your glasses with a paper towel, you'll scratch your glasses. And then we finally have, so using a paper towel to dry it. But if you have smudges on there, we have
lens paper,
which then you can rub off of there and then get the fingerprints off. Because whatever's on the slide is what's going to be magnified. So you don't want smudges and dirt.
Yep.
Okay, in your newspaper, you can cut out a letter E.
Okay, try to cut one that's close to the edge, because you guys are going to reuse these pieces. Different groups are, okay? And you want to make sure that you find a lowercase letter E. If you get a capital letter E, it will not work. So do not get a capital letter E. Lowercase letter E. It does not need to be real big. Remember, you're putting it under a microscope, which means it's going to make it bigger. So a small letter E that's in the newsprint will be perfect.
The reason why we chose letter E is because it is an object that you're familiar with. When you do a lab later to look at cells, you've never seen cells under a microscope before, so you may not know how to maneuver the microscope. Here, you're looking at something you're familiar with, and you'll learn how to use the microscope. Okay, to make your slide, you're going to place a drop of water in the center of your slide. And then you're going to put your letter E in there, using your toothpick as a guide to kind of get him nice and straight. That does matter. That's not us being like little picky people. It really does make a difference if the letter E is straight. So straighten him off as the best you can.
And it should be right side up to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So when you're looking at it, it should look like a normal letter E to you.
And then you take your cover slip, and you drop this at an angle like the picture is showing you below. And Ms. Burkhart is going to demonstrate, but they're clear.
So you're going to start it at an angle, and you're going to lower it, and then you're going to release it.
That helps prevent air from going in. That's why we ask you, if you put it straight down, you're trapping air. As you do that, it kind of squeezes the air out. If you do see air bubbles, you can take a pencil, and I don't have one, so I use my finger, and you just tap it gently, and the air bubbles will go to the side.
Don't press real hard on your cover slip, because cover slips will break, and then you have to start your slide completely over.
Okay, step 5. Now you're going to actually use your microscope. And now you already labeled the part, so you're familiar that this is the stage, and you're going to lower it all the way down. It goes using your objectives as far down as it goes, and then you place that in the stage, And then you raise it all. Oh, yep. Thank you, Ms. Burkhart. You're gonna put that in the lowest setting. It's easier to find it when it's not, when you can see it. And then you raise the stage all the way up while looking at it. That way you know they're not going to run into each other. And then, if you notice this, Ms. Burkhart actually has her microscope backwards. See the red arrow? Bad. You need to turn it so it's like this. The eyepiece should be facing the back of the microscope, and then you'll look down. You'll find the letter E, and then you'll fine-tune it by lowering the stage. The reason we don't want you to have the stage down, raising up, is it could run into the objective lens. They do touch, or it could crack the lens. It could crack the lens. It could crack the slide. It could ruin the microscope. In all honesty, I can't see anything. There could be a reason. Maybe I didn't plug it in, or if I did plug it in, there is this hidden little knob here. A lot of kids get kind of confused. It's the diaphragm. The diaphragm controls the amount of light that goes through. So if you see kind of an object but it's not clear, maybe adjust the diaphragm and add more light, or maybe you have too much light and it's kind of overpowering it.
Another reason why you may not be able to see anything is if you don't have your E centered below your lens. So if it's kind of off to the side, you may not be able to see the print. So feel free to be looking through your microscope and kind of wiggle your slide around until you can actually see the newspaper print.
Okay. So you're using your lowest objective lens, and this is what you're looking for. This is newspaper print. You see the ink is the black, and the darker part is the paper itself. You can actually see fibers. A lot of kids get tripped up by these. These are blasted bubbles. That's it. If it's a perfect circle, it's air trapped in there. So while it's fun to look at, it's nothing you need to like spend too much time on.
Right.
The other thing is that confuses kids is this black line. Some of the microscopes have a pointer, and it's attached to the eyepiece itself. The cool thing is if I find a new thing in my microscope, I can adjust the pointer to it. Like, oh my gosh, look at the end of the pointer, and then she can see it too.
Surprise!
And that's a way to communicate to your like next scientist over.
And if you are using your eyepiece with the pointer, it is possible that that eyepiece will come unscrewed because it's screwed into the top. So if all of a sudden you end up with your eyepiece in your hand, don't freak out. Remain calm. Just come let us know, and we'll put it back together for you.
Yep. Okay, when you are done, you're going to throw away the used E.
Do not throw away the cover slip, though. You're going to remove the cover slip, throw away the E. That's the only thing you're throwing away.
Yep. All the trash, the paper towels, and used lens cloths can be in the trash can. You'll clean your own slide and the cover slips to make sure they're ready for the next go. Everything gets put away.
Make sure you turn off and unplug your microscope. We do not want to leave them on because they have light bulbs in it, and we all know that if light bulbs are left on, they burn out.
Get hot. Notice how this person has the cord wrapped up nice and neat. Please do that for us. There's no need for us to have to go back and wrap everybody's up. And then finally, put the scrap paper back with the rest of the scraps. So that way we can reuse it. Oh,
And then put your dust cover back on,
so it doesn't get dusty.
and then put your microscope back in the correct place for the next group to come in and use it.
Okay? If you have any questions, please see us. We understand that this is a confusing way to make your slide. It's your first time. We totally get it. But if you have any questions, you know where to find us. Any thoughts?
Nope. Later.
Okay.